Okay, Death Stranding is in the wild, and it's getting a little bit of a mixed review. It's kind of interesting to watch this play out. We're going to go over that. We're also going to go over to ResetEra, where people are saying they're not going to open their wallet for Kojima because Kojima's got a problematic history. Of course he does. Everybody's got a problematic history when it comes to the people over on ResetEra. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Let's a couple of interesting things going on about that game. Another thing about ResetEra is these are totally the people that do jazz hands. If you don't know what that is, take a look at that. You can look up jazz hands for a real joke. Look up people jazz handing. That's who these people over on ResetEra are. And I like to point this out. These people have tremendous power at the gaming industry. They get gaming companies to bend to their knees constantly. I think that power is going away with the fall of places like Kotaku, but nonetheless, they still help censor and shape your Western game market. So it's important to point these people out and just how loopy and crazy they are. Funny thing is, the reason that they have so much time to complain and get companies to bend the knees because they don't have jobs. Most of them. See, the problem is a lot of these people are in university and they're all, the world is inclusive. But then when they leave the university, they can't find a job and they wonder why. It's because when they're at the job interview saying, yes, well, I require these things to be had at your place of work, sir. If you would like my brilliance to praise your workplace while I'm here, you need to abide by these rules. And they say, okay. And they put that job application in the trash when you walk out. Because they just see lawsuit written all over you while you're sitting there in that interview chair. So you ain't getting the job. Maybe if you just stop being a pompous prick, you might find a job someday. Could happen. Anyway, let's get to the story. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that and subscribe if you're new. The game journalists, let's start with them, as they seem to be loving that Kojima game. They love it. They're giving it high scores, but I find that funny. These are the same people that say, in 2020, I can no longer abide the 100-hour RPG. Totally forgetting, and this is one of the reasons why these people aren't relatable with the average person. The average person can't afford multiple $60 games. This is the problem with the Outer Worlds, which I'm still, having some fun with. I hear it's really short. I started playing Luigi's Mansion right as it came out, so I stopped playing the Outer Worlds, but I hear the Outer Worlds is only like 20 hours long. It's rather short. One of the reasons these 100-hour RPGs are good for people is because they're meaty and you get your money's worth and some out of them. But the problem is these game journals, they're not really fans of games, and they depend on being able to move to the next game for a review article real fast. So showing how unrelatable they are to people, they write articles bickering about how games are long. And I'm surprised that they've given Death Stranding a good review score considering what people are saying about it. So let's get into that. I just want to point out how unrelatable these people are. They totally don't understand that video games are a luxury and people can't afford to buy tons of games. These people get review codes, by the way. If I was a game publisher, I wouldn't give these people free games. You know who I'd be giving free games to? People on YouTube. Influencers that matter, that people actually care about. Not Kotaku, Polygon. No one gives a damn what these people say anymore. So I just wanted to start with this. Reviews are in for the biggest PlayStation 4 game of the year, but critics can't agree if it's good enough. I find this review headline confusing because if you go to Metacritic, the reviews are positive. It's in the high 80s. That's a very high average for scores over on Metacritic. You don't see that too often, which indicates that it's good. Now, I think this has to do with people giving it a high score, but criticizing it in the review. That's kind of a problematic thing with review scores. But the interesting thing here is the user score. The user score is very low. It's very bad, actually, on Metacritic, 6.1, pretty low. If you can look here, you see a very mixed number between negative and positive. Now, the difference here, though, is the negatives are people that don't play the games. People complaining about long cutscenes, gameplay where nothing happens. Obviously, these people have never played a Kojima game. So that's kind of where the community stands. Critics are afraid to give it a low score. mostly because they don't really want to sit there and play through it, and they don't want to get backlash. Kojima's a big name. They already get enough backlash. But there's one group that stands above them all. And that group, of course, is ResetEra. Of course it is. So I got alerted to this thread, which I thought was quite hilarious. Vote with your wallet tomorrow and tell Kojima that his problematic content must stop. It's funny, too, because you know what the guy who made this thread was comparing Kojima to Roman Polanski. Boy, if you don't know who Roman Polanski is, go ahead and look him up. Quite a sick person he is. And he's comparing a guy who just draws sexy female characters to a guy that's a real-life predator. So I just want to put that out there. That's the kind of people that infest that website. And never forget that they help shape your video games over in the West. So here are some hot takes from that thread. I'm already not buying it. The spoilers from today just helped me even more with that decision. Kojima's got many, many, many problems with women that I hope someday he sorts out before someone gets hurt. And then this guy bumps the thread. He bumps the thread. Banned. Inflammatory false equivalence. Look how easy it is to get banned over on that garbage website. I just thought this was hilarious. Now let's check out something else that they're posting to try to sway you from buying Death Stranding. So here we go. Here's the next one. So, of course, ResetEra is all about talking about Kojima right now. We got this one. This may change in 2 days, but the BB unit is IMO, the most bizarre thing Kojima has ever done. And we go here. This is, of course, from the most recent Metal Gear Solid game. And here is the problem. You see these women kind of in a lingerie-looking outfit here. It says, all right, so this, and this is a little yellow course in case you don't know. For those of you who don't know, the BB standing for Beauty and the Beast were MGS4's group of bosses. What were they? Well, this. Kojima scanned 4 real-life models into the game and put them in these giant robot suits. Once you kill the robot, the girls come out of the suit. They look like this. You can see the girls right there. And they walk sexually towards Snake, who either has to take them out or shrink them. The sexualization is actually one of the least surprising things, considering Kojima to me, though. On top of that, every single one of them has PTSD due to some way over-the-top backstory that includes some horrible atrocities they committed in their past. He body scanned 4 models, sexualized the hell out of them, slapped them in big robotic suits decked with weapons, gave them horrifying backstories, and connected them to every past Metal Gear series boss. And in the end, had them being controlled by mantas. Like, who the F? LMAO. That's not mentioning the photo mode that Snake can enter when he takes pictures of the models. You can see here, of course, they're doing some poses. People don't understand that people like beautiful women, but of course that's the problem, isn't it, with these Puritans? They say, how dare you show a woman looking good. At the same time, we'll talk about how hot a man's arms are or how good they look with their shirt off. It's a double standard that they never want to point out, but of course, that's okay. We're heading back to those times. Women can't, before you know it, they'll barely be able to show any ankle again. So that's where we're going. One of the many problematic history courses that ResetEra has for you available on the website to educate you on the problematic man that Kojima is. Now, of course, I find all this humorous and funny, but it's just pointing out the lengths that these people go when there's a release that comes out. If women show any skin, they're going to get a thread over on ResetEra. It's just kind of how things are. Now, the great thing is that Kojima is such a legend that Sony just kept their hands off this game, I'm imagining. And hopefully the game is good. I'm not going to probably play it to the end of the month. This is why I don't really review video games, because I would never be able to get reviews out in time, and therefore no one would ever watch them. But I would say the game is probably good. If you're a fan of Kojima, you will probably like it. As far as I could tell from looking at people's reviews of the game, I managed to avoid spoilers. I'll get to this game when I get to it, and it will probably be at the end of the month. and that's when I will put a lot of time into it because it sounds like it's a meaty game, which of course journalists don't like. I showed you that article at the beginning where they complained about the 100+ hour game and so on and so on. And then the Puritans coming out and attacking Kojima. This stuff never works. Now, if you're a proven moneymaker and you're Japanese, they usually will leave you alone in the gaming industry. Now, if he was a Western developer, it would be a different story. They seem to be able to get those people canceled. So anyway, that's pretty much it. If you're playing the game, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about it. What do you think about these Puritans trying to cancel Kojima? Give me your thoughts. And as always, like, subscribe, leave the comments, share the video, and hit that notification bell. And as always, I will see you all on the next one. Peace.